Live from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport in Texas. This is Runway DFW in color. Now, here is your host, Walt Zwerko.
And a very happy good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. It's Walt here, and we are here with you for another edition of Runway DFW, live from the second busiest airport in the world, on Monday, August 8th, 2022. It's our third broadcast in 4 days, and we'll be here for the next almost 3 hours. And I have a highlight for you. I'll tell you about that in just a second on Runway DFW as we get started. So that special event I'm referring to has to do, and there's our satellite truck, which is beaming our signal to the world. That special event is something called Silkway West. It is an airline out of Baku, Azerbaijan, and they've been flying here. It's a cargo airline. They've been flying here for several months now, but I've never seen this flight come in. It only comes in once a week, and so we're going to get to see it this morning around 7:30 local time, which is about an hour and 10 minutes away. So we get to see at least one Queen of the Skies this morning as we greet you in the dawn of Dallas-Fort Worth. So thank you for hanging out with us today. Glad to have you with us. Now, let's see who's with us. Here we've got a whole bunch of people. We have our friends at Spotting TV. Good morning to you. So Neil is liking our truck, our satellite truck. And you can tell the kind of expense we place here into our efforts for you at Runway DFW by the look of that truck. And so Mill also says good morning, as does Peter B. Good morning, Walt, Charlene, and everyone. Greetings from Australia, where it's late at night right now, right? Yes. Tim Heasley, good morning, everyone. And so we're happy to have you all aboard on this edition of Runway DFW. We've got, what is this down here? Hang on, I'm trying to zero in on something I saw moving slowly. And there it is. Now, did this just land, or is it... What's going on with this thing? Maybe it's just taxiing. It's a 777. Okay, it came out of the hangar area, and I guess it's going to its gate. I saw that 777 kind of lumbering down what looked like the runway. I guess it's just a taxiway. Here is the view from DFW Founders Plaza. You can see the flags. That camera is looking towards the west, and so the flags are pointing north, and so the wind is coming from the south at a brisk pace. And now we see our first departure of the day. This is going to be Delta, as you can tell. Flight 732, it's an A320 off to Los Angeles. And this is a turn-of-the-century plane dating back to the year 2000. And there you see the focus problems we sometimes have at this time of day. Yeah, this may have to be one of our final 6:15 shows, because it's just pretty dark when we arrived now. A few weeks back at the peak of daylight, it was a little brighter here. There's our first flight off to Los Angeles. And as I was saying before, I think we've only got one 747 on the docket this morning. We do not have any A380s. We only get one a day here, and the one that does come here comes in the afternoon when we will not be broadcasting. So it's just one of those things. But we'll have some fun. Kel's 1136 says, I like the intro. Never caught it before. Thank you, Kels. Peter B says it looks a little bit windy there this morning, and yes, a little bit. I'm going to say it's maybe 10 miles an hour. It might be a little gustier going up from that, but there you see the flags on the right, and in the center of the screen, obscured a little bit by some parking lot lights, is the beacon, the green beacon, which lets planes know where we are. And there's a view towards the east. We were looking towards the west over here, and so this is kind of the reverse shot of that. That's the east tower there in the center of the screen. We see terminals A and B. A is on this side and B is on the other side, and the skyline of Dallas in the background. Let me scan the skies here for a second and see what we've got coming in. And that's me adjusting the microphone. We're going to look at flight 2563, American Airlines, coming in from Austin. And it almost always comes in on this side, but this morning, and when I say this side, I mean the west side of the airport. We are overlooking the west side of DFW Airport, runways 18 left and 18 right. This plane is coming in on the east side, so we'll get to track it for as long as it's in our view. It's a 737-800, which we told you yesterday was the most numerous of the various aircraft types that American Airlines flies into this airport, or flies in general in its fleet. And we'll be seeing the sunrise just a few minutes from now, looking towards the eastern sky. And that's about all of that we will be able to see. Well, while we've got a moment or two, let's check out the forecast, shall we? Well, the forecast for Dallas-Fort Worth today, we are going to get back up to 100 degrees, which we didn't get to yesterday. So around 4 o'clock, it'll hit 100 degrees. It'll be mostly sunny while we're on the air. And then it's going to turn to partly cloudy and mostly cloudy later. But we sure could use some rain, and there is a spot of rain around 8 o'clock, 15%, 9 o'clock, 15%. So we'll keep our fingers crossed because we desperately need some rain here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Well, in Texas in general, because it's just been so dry. Everything is dry as a bone. No measurable rain in quite a while, and we need it. So keep your fingers crossed that we get a little bit of rain here. I hope it's not as dry where you are. Bill Caldum checking in from Arkansas, saying, "Good morning, Walt. Hope you are well," and I am indeed. We'll have some fun this morning.
1022 DFW, are you ready? 22 or an altitude, runway 17 right, cleared forward takeoff.
And right now we have no activity here on the west side. It sounds like everything right now is going on the east side, and they do switch sides every now and again. They do runway inspections around this time of day, and I don't see the little trucks going back and forth out there at the moment. But the one flight that is coming in from Lawton, Oklahoma, which again normally comes in on this side of the airport, has been directed over to the east side for the time being. There's the lineup of planes at DFW Terminal D, the international terminal, which is, I believe, the biggest of all the terminals and also the newest. And there's the Grand Hyatt Hotel, which is adjacent to the international terminal there in the background. And I hear what sounds to be lawn equipment somewhere in the background. Oh no, that's not lawn equipment. That's one of those propeller cargo planes, a Beechcraft or a Super Cargo Master. We may be seeing those in a little bit, operated by smaller airlines that ferry packages back and forth to the UPS terminal.
1022 contact departure today.
Spotting TV says it's also much too dry in Germany. They're fighting wildfires, and we do get a spot of that. Well, there's several areas in the U.S. where we've got some serious wildfires problems. We had one here in the Dallas area a couple of weeks ago where somebody was just mowing tall grass, and then the blade of the mower hit a stone or something and caused a spark and set off a terrible fire which destroyed, I believe, about 10 homes in a subdivision adjacent to that field, and it was quite a conflagration. So everybody's trying to be extra careful. We've got I've noticed they've been setting off the sprinklers a lot more often here at DFW Founders Plaza, which, if you're a regular viewer, you know that it's caused us to have to move rather quickly on a couple of occasions. As a result of that, we've set back our equipment a little bit from the grassy area. We normally would be on the grassy area to get a little better view. But we are waiting for some planes now, and it'll perk up here. Don't worry about it. As always, we are just to the north of the UPS cargo hub, and there you see some of the tails. Looks like a couple of 767s and a 757 back there in the background. There are a couple of MD-11 tri-jets, which it'd be hard to show you because the view is kind of obscured from where we are. And normally we get to see at least one of those blast off in the morning, and so we will see. We should get some UPS action before too long. And we do have now some activity here on the west side. First, we'll have from Killeen, Texas, American Eagle Flight 3760. It'll be an Embraer 175, which departed the city of Killeen 31 minutes ago. But behind that, we've got the daily flight from Sao Paulo, Brazil, after an almost 10-hour flight. So a little difference there. But here comes the flight from Killeen on Runway DFW. Someone made a comment yesterday about where's the noise? Where's all the, why isn't it louder? And really, these planes do not make that much noise. I mean, I guess if you're right under it or right next to it, you can hear it roar, but they've done, it's just the engineering that has created these modern engines is really quite remarkable, that they're as quiet as they are and relatively clean burning. Here comes the flight from Sao Paulo. This is a Dreamliner 787-9 coming out from behind the sign pole. So that's a newish Dreamliner, just 3 years old, in American's fleet. Ryan was saying the 777 yesterday was screaming loud. I got to meet Ryan yesterday. He came over after the Sunday morning broadcast ended, and so I got to say hello to him. So hello again to you, Ryan. Thank you for stopping by. And I didn't get to see his comment as I was shooting those planes, but it's a nice shot of all the UPS planes, Peter B says. So thank you, Peter. It's not a very challenging shot because we're right. It's the closest thing really to us that has any activity. Everything else is pretty far away. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about this spot where we're at, because we do get a nice commanding view of runways 18 right and 18 left. It is we're up on a rise, so we get to, you see the the barbed wire fence there below us, the security fence. Well, we get a clear view over it because of how they've situated the DFW Founders Plaza here. So nothing really to complain about, other than the fact that there's no restrooms here. But what can you say? You can't have everything. So you can't see it in the shop, but we've got 2 or 3 cars here from people just hanging out. And this is just a great hanging out place if you live or work in the area of northwest side of Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. It's a pretty cool place to hang out and have, you know, bring a little bag of lunch or something and just sit down. People bring their folding chairs here and have a good time. And what we're doing now is called, the technical name is vamping, because there's nothing happening right now. Bill was saying the stream you did right at dark was really great. The lights at the airport, the planes are beautiful to me. Thank you, Bill. It was, it's a great time to be here in the evening, but our camera is not perfectly suited for that. It's more of a daytime camera. It will provide a picture, but it gets a little blurry and fuzzy when it gets to be nighttime. There you see an incoming plane over on the east side of the airport. I thought I'd capture that just to show you that there are things happening here. That was American Eagle flight, what was it? 3240, operated by SkyWest Airlines, coming in from College Station, Texas, which of course is the home of Texas A&M, and that's a 36-minute flight on a CRJ 701ER. We should have a nice sunrise today. We've got some clouds on the horizon. I forgot to see when sunrise is today. Sunrise is 6:47, so we're still 8 minutes away from the sun peeking over the horizon. Oh, look at this. That's what I'm thinking it is. Holy moly, this is great. We've got, this is a surprise, we've got a Ukraine Air Alliance An-12 BK. This is a 52-year-old plane. Oh, this is cool. So let's take a look. I'm just going to shut up and we'll see this. This is a surprise. It's a cargo plane.
Turn right on Kilo, left on Zulu, ground 25, top of the bridge.
This is coming in from Kingston, Jamaica, I'm assuming. I'm trying to get it in focus here so we get a nice long look at it. There it is. It's a little smoky. It's been in the air for 5 hours. Well, I was thinking the Silkway West 747 would be the highlight of the day, but I believe it has just been eclipsed by the Ukraine Air Alliance Flight 5051, coming in from Kingston, Jamaica. And again, this is a plane that dates back 52 years.
371 Echo Lima cross 17 right, turn left on Lima, give ramp up call, let me know spot entry.
So this was built back in the Soviet era in Ukraine by the Antonov aircraft factory. I've only seen one other Antonov plane. That was the AN, what was it, 2021? It was a jet cargo plane, which came in here a few months back. So we don't see too many 4-engine aircraft here, much less a 4-engine propeller aircraft. And it is headed over to a cargo facility, I'm assuming here on the west side. It should be making a right turn. We'll get another profile look at it in a minute.
Clear to land 17 Center, American 277. 287, clear for takeoff, RNAV, B park.
I am so happy we could bring this to you this morning.
Okay, JetBlue, I'm talking to somebody else.
I don't know if you can pick it up, but from my position on a wide, with my eyeballs, I can see smoke rising from those engines. It is not an environmentally friendly aircraft, I would imagine. And there it goes over to the cargo area. Again, the Antonov An-12 BK. Something a little more modern now. It's Alaska Airlines. And I believe this is a 737-900. Probably off to Seattle, I'm going to guess.
1660, you all set?
Wow, I'm a little flabbergasted by what we just saw. There's probably not too many of those AN-12s floating around anymore. So that was a 787-990ER. Off to Seattle, 5-year-old aircraft.
417. 7 where's good day? Switch to 17 right, so I don't know if y'all are set for 17 left, but 17 right will be the runway.
Bill Caldham says that Antonov plane has a C-130 look. Spotting TV, and I know that they can appreciate having little surprises like this, saying that's a nice surprise, that AN-12. Bill Caldham saying that's a thumbnail. Gazrat Jackson saying, yeah, that's a smoky plane on idle, LOL. And Chris Greenstreet, a special aircraft, if a bit smoky. I'm Just a Bill saying, I remember several years ago there was an Ilyushin IL-78 parked at Grayson County Airport, the old Perrin Air Force Base, and my TV station is not just around just a couple minutes away from there, so I know where you're talking about. I would have loved to have seen that. We've got Kruger greeting us from Australia, where it's, I believe, late at night, late on Monday night. Happy to have you here with us. OzGaming9, good morning, Walt. OzGaming is another YouTube airport streamer who has recently fired up some streams from right here at DFW Founders Plaza. So, greetings to you.
Yeah, we're east side. Okay, American 2770, Kilo 8, cross 17 right. You activate Kilo to the ramp with me.
So as you can see, we're about to have our little sunrise now. Spotting TV imploring you to please like and subscribe and probably share. Thank you. And Deborah saying, I love that sky. Yeah, it's a particularly nice sky this morning, and the sun is just about getting ready to peek out. So what we're going to do is just pause. There's not a lot going on here right now. So we'll do what the American comedian Jon Stewart used to call in his show a moment of zen as we bring you the sunrise.
JetBlue 610, you can earn out to Sarah, runway 17 right, clip and takeoff. 17 right, clip takeoff, JetBlue 610.
So, cue the sun.
American 1343.
Well, it's hard to compete with that. Planes are nice, and it's nice to see planes flying through that, but yeah, it's kind of inspirational, I guess. So I hope you like that. I don't know, it seems to have become a regular part of our mornings here at the airport. And I don't know, maybe you get used to seeing that if you work here at this hour of the day, but I don't know if I could ever get tired of seeing that. Kind of like 747s. I never get tired of seeing those either. Our friend Joshua Roberts, good morning Runway DFW and everyone, just joining in during an incredible sunrise with spectacular sounds to match. Joshua from Australia, late at night. 8 in the morning in New York, says Amy's. Amazing, says Nabila D. And, you know, I have nothing to do with it except pointing a camera at it, really. Thank you for sharing. Well, we were happy to share. Durrani T, hello and good morning to all of you in the U.S. and good afternoon from Saudi Arabia. So happy to have all of you from around the world. It's, as I say every time, I still can't get over how it's just a regular thing for people from around the world to be listening to the sound of my voice. Ryan is saying it looks like there's two sunrises on top of each other. I'm sure that's just a combination of the clouds refracting the light and probably some camera lens things going on. But okay, we've got planes coming in and we'll have some taking off too. First on deck is American Airlines 3262 coming in from San Angelo, Texas after a 39-minute flight on a Mitsubishi 701 ER. Here it comes. I'm just happy that the technology has advanced to the point where we have solid-state cameras where you can point your sensor at the sun and not have it burn in an image as you would with a camera that has a tube as the pickup sensor. I mean, you've probably seen that in old TV shows where a camera hits a light and it just leaves a trail because the light burns into it. Here comes American Eagle 3571 from Wichita Falls. Yes, this is one of the shortest flights that we see here. 22 minutes in the air from Wichita Falls to the northwest of here on this Embraer 145 LR. Somil Bandari liked and shared this video. Well, thank you. That helps us grow. Helps us find more folks like you. Deborah is saying good morning from Ontario in Canada. Hi, everyone. Probably a little cooler where you are, I hope. And Cookie Monster 65, I like that name. Hello from Brisbane in Australia. We've got a lot of Australians checking in this morning. But nearby in Runway Collin County, which is just down the road from us. Good morning to you, Runway Collin County. I feel energized today. I should feel sleepy. I only got about 3 hours of sleep, but seeing all these great scenes of nature and of planes.
429 DFW, what's your
Kind of cool.
Kilo 7, Lima Echo Hotel for 178. Be a flight delay when you get
From the home of Walmart Stores, the big retailer in the U.S., in Bentonville, Arkansas, comes this American Eagle flight, 3527, and Embraer 175, about to land on runway 18 right.
Okay, empty cross joint Kilo command.
And if you hear birds, because it's feeding time here at DFW Founders Plaza. Yep, you guys are on TV, on worldwide TV.
76, you up.
Don't be bashful. Hawaii, hello from Romania. Hello to you. We welcome you to Runway DFW. Looks like they're finding what they're after. I don't know if I'm doing a nature show or an airport show today. But we'll go back to being your airport show for a little bit anyway. It's coming in from Waco, Texas. American Eagle Flight 3512 and Embraer 145. John Walton commenting on the our flying friends here. Got legs like the 757 undercarriage, those birds. And those birds don't need a clearance for their takeoff, says Spotting TV. And we want to welcome FIFA 19-20-21 content. Hello from the UK. Hey, FIFA.
It's going to be 17 center next, but around probably maybe 15 after the hour or so.
From Raleigh-Durham in North Carolina, comes this 737-800, the backbone of the American fleet. Flight number 2605, touching down. That was a 2-hour and 23-minute flight from the East Coast. We've got a whole lineup of planes incoming now. If they come into focus, there's 2 of them. Well, there's 3 of them, but they're just kind of... They don't seem to want to focus. First in line is American Eagle Flight 4046 from Amarillo in West Texas. Then there's another American Eagle Flight coming in from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and that will be followed by American Airlines Flight 1226 from Miami in Florida. That'll be an A321. So a couple of regional planes followed by a mainline plane. So if you're just joining us, in case you missed it, we had a surprise this morning. We got to see a Ukrainian air cargo plane coming in from Kingston, Jamaica. A 50 or 52 years old aircraft. 4 propellers, an An-12, an Antonov An-12. And that was one of those knock your socks off moments. We're just waiting for the next planes to come in here. Runway Collin County is going to make a visit to DFW Airport, maybe around 9. If so, you can watch me pack up, I guess. I'll be clearing out quickly. Hey, Michael Painter saying, good morning, Walt and everyone.
Bravo, hold short at 17 right.
That was the plane coming in from Lake Charles, Louisiana. And next on the docket, as they seem to be doing runway inspections on 17 left, which is the takeoff, primary takeoff field from this side of the airport. So we're just getting some arrivals now, and this is it's an Airbus A321, American Flight 1226 from Miami in Florida.
Good morning, we're at gate Delta 30. We do not have a water slip yet. On a hold short of 17 right. I can't say that or not. Captain's not here, so please move forward with the paper.
And there you see some of the ground operations team commiserating there with their pickup trucks on their runway inspection tour. And Ryan saying that was awesome seeing the Ukrainian cargo plane. Yeah, I was similarly impressed. Daniel Jagers here. Greetings from Wisconsin in the USA. And now we get to see, I think this is our first heavy aircraft of the day. It's going to be American Flight 102 coming in from Honolulu. And this will be a 777. We did see a 777 earlier, but just taxiing. We haven't seen one landing or taking off yet. So here we go. Of course, for airplane photography enthusiasts, this is not the ideal circumstance with the sun behind the aircraft as it lands, obscuring its livery, but sure makes for some pretty shots. Robert Reed says, good morning from Indiana. First day of school for this teacher. What grade do you teach, Robert? My 6-year-old grandson's about to head into first grade. He's pretty excited. His first day is later this week on Thursday, but I know the teachers have been already going in. V1 Aviation, good morning, good afternoon, I'm sorry, from Amsterdam. Glad to have you with us. V1 Aviation.
Good morning, Envoy 3983 is visual 177.
The Awesome Gaming Channel is here saying, I was plane watching there yesterday. By there, I'm sure the Awesome Gaming Channel means here.
2297 already. 2297, roger that, runway 17
Cookie Monster 65 says, I know Qantas flies to DFW. What time does it arrive? The last time I saw it here, it was in the kind of mid to late afternoon, if I'm right. I don't know if that has changed or not. There you see an American Airlines plane coming over the bridge from the east side. There are bridges on the terminals are kind of smack dab in the center. There's 5 terminals here at DFW, and they separate the east and west sides of the airport. There's a road that goes right down the middle, north-south, and then there's bridges on the north sides of the terminals and the south side of the terminals where planes can come and go across the bridges. So if you're driving down the access road there in the middle of the airport, you get to see these, if you're in the right time in the right place, you'll see these big planes coming over these bridges right over you, like, it was like a plane highway. Big Baby saying 22 minutes until the Silkway lands. That's an interesting icon you have there, Big Baby. I guess you've probably got an iPad in your crib there where you can watch our broadcast. Dr. Smith, good afternoon from Rugby in the UK. And Runway Collin County saying, my first day of school is on August 10th. Going into fourth grade, 3 grades after your grandson. Okay. Let's get back to the planes here, shall we? This, of course, is a Mesa Airlines plane flying for... It's going to touch down? Oh, there it goes. Flying for American Eagle. But in the Mesa livery. And that one was coming in from Corpus Christi in South Texas on the Gulf Coast. After a flight of 1 hour and 1 minute, that CRJ 900ER. We have a technical question here from V1 Aviation. Maybe uncommon to ask, but are you willing to share your setup? What streaming device are you using to run Melon on? Well, we have been using Melon, which is a streaming service which lets you use your browser to connect to the internet. I'm right now we're using something called Ecamm Live, which runs only on Mac computers, and I'm really liking it because it's native to the Mac. So it seems a little. I mean, I haven't had as much problem with it so far. And this is only the second broadcast we've used it. So we're gonna see how it fits into our broadcasting here. There comes American Airlines Flight 2342 from San Antonio in Texas. And there goes American Flight 524, and that is off to Los Angeles. And when it gets busy, it helps that we've got our multi-camera setup here. And for you technical people out there, you can switch cameras using some software like Melon and also eCam Live. You can use the software to switch cameras, but I do have a hardware camera switcher. It's just easier to push real buttons for me, especially when you're doing several things at once. What do we got? Sun Country here. I'm going to guess it's off to Cancun, and I would be right. It's a 737-800. And once that leaves the picture, we'll switch back to camera 1 and show you the rest of it's taking off. But at the same time, we've got an American Airlines flight coming in from Wichita, an A319, which is not a baby bus, it's a mini bus, I have been informed. There it is there. So there's a mini bus coming in from Wichita, Kansas. And here goes the Sun Country off to Cancun in Mexico. One of the top destinations from Dallas-Fort Worth. I believe it's in the top 5.
You're right, we're parking last. 2834 on the high-speed exit up here, mark that much spot. Off the high-speed exit here, mark up the.
Why am I showing you the sky? I should be showing you camera 2. There's those runway operations folks. The runways are open, but they're parked there.
Land 170 on board 240, thanks. Shuttle 5786, taxi Mike to Bravo, hold short, runway 17 right.
We have American Flight 702 coming in from Sacramento in California, 737-800. And if you are new to Runway DFW, and I try to say that, I mean, I know that those of you who watch regularly know this, but people who don't probably don't understand that this is an airport that's dominated by one airline, American Airlines, and so we see a lot of them. Karen Glenn has just subscribed. Thank you, Karen. I try to acknowledge all of our new subscribers, but I can't see them all the time because I'm doing other stuff. Shorty Crosgrove is saying also a new subscriber. Thank you, DFW, and thank you. Tim Wells is saying some people consider the A319 the baby bus, others consider the A318 as the baby bus, but the A318 is so rare, only 80 were built, and as we found out from one of our viewers on our last broadcast, or maybe it was the one before that, and Swapnil Thakar just subscribed. Thank you, Swapnil. There's just 2 airlines, apparently, that still operate the 318, Air France being one of them, and the other one is an airline that, some European airline that I'd never heard of before. Romanian, perhaps? But anyway, baby bus, minibus. I don't know, minibus has kind of a ring to it. That was American Airlines Flight 1632 coming in from Austin, Texas, the state capital, 737-800. And we have David Beard subscribing. And we have Slavic 626 subscribing. We welcome all of you to the Runway DFW family. And wow, we have I know that Mrs. Runway DFW frowns on this, but I have to say we have exceeded 5,500 subscribers on our way to 6,000, so thank you all. Big Baby says Founders Plaza seems so far away. It is farther away from the action than some other airport spotting locations. That is true. But it is convenient, and it's nice, and it's pleasant. And we get to do what we need to do here without getting hassled, so we appreciate that. Oh, there, what do we have there? We've got the PSA, American Airlines Special Livery, PSA. I'm sorry we couldn't get a shot of the front of the plane because PSA planes have a smiley face in the front, painted on the front of them. As we were talking about, I think it was yesterday or the days blend together. At any rate, I don't think we'll get to see the smiley face, but when it turns, we'll get to see the livery a little bit. PSA was a California-based airline, which was kind of analogous to what Southwest was here in Texas. It was a low-cost airline, high frequency. At any rate, this plane came in from McAllen, Texas. And there you see the layout of it. You can kind of see, if you've got a big enough screen, you can kind of see the smiley face in the front of it. Just a friendly looking aircraft. Andy just subscribed. Thank you, Andy. Hugo DeCara says good morning. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I can kind of see the smiley face when I look at my bigger screen there. And John Walton, Next Generation Music, with a very kind comment, the only channel I watch in America. And I know there's some pretty good plane spotting channels here in America, I must say. So that's quite a compliment. Thank you. We'll try to live up to your high standards. Another Australian viewer, Karen Glenn, welcome to you. Just discovered this. Watching from Eastern Australia, where it's 10:20 p.m. on Monday. So welcome to the daytime here in North Texas. And Jimmy the Trumpet saying nice to see a couple of fellow Aussies here. We are now bringing you a view of United Airlines Flight 1206 coming in from San Francisco on this minibus with the older United livery. And my guess is that it's going to be one of the older A319s. And I pushed the wrong button and it's a 16-year-old plane, not the oldest. I think they go back to the turn of the century, maybe even before. But yes, so just in case you were wondering, are there any other airlines that fly into and out of here? Yes, that's one of them. And we should be getting close, folks, if you're thinking of tuning out, to I think what'll be our only Queen of the Skies today, 747, and it'll be a special one for me because it's going to be Silkway West Airlines, a cargo operator out of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. I always wanted to say that as Johnny Carson, the American late night host. But yeah, we'll be the first. It flies in here once a week, but I've never seen it. It comes in at odd times for me. So we will together get to see Silkway West arrive from, I believe it's Anchorage is coming in from. In just a few minutes. I didn't even tell you where this one's coming from. This one's coming in from Monterrey, Mexico. An A319, American Airlines. I don't yet see the Silkway West on my radar, although I'm sure it's coming. Plus it got diverted. I'm zooming out. And let me try this. Oh yeah, it's 3 minutes away. Silkway West. Oh no, is it coming in on the... Dagnabbit. Looks like it may be coming in on runway 13 right, which is obscured to us. Now we will get to see it eventually, and hang on a second. I'm going to close the hood, the hatch of my car, so maybe we can catch a glimpse of it as it comes in. So hang on a second. Put on a little music here for a second. This is not the best news, but let me see if I can... I don't know, I've never tried to catch a plane coming in from this direction. We might be able to see a little bit of it, but I doubt very much. Is it here already? No, not here already. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to look at the sky this way and see if we can see this coming in. I think our best bet would be over in this section here, but by that time it might be too low in the sky to see. So let's just hang out for a second. A little disappointed about this. This is this again will be, if we ever see it, Silkway West Airlines flight 4456 coming in from Anchorage. Let's see if I can triangulate where it is. But yeah, at best we'll be able to see it kind of over the, just on the horizon, over that direction. And again, fortunately it's a big plane, so we might be able to see some of it. But when it finally finishes landing, and it will be coming towards us from the south. We'll get to see it at least a little bit then. But yes, a disappointment to me that it's not landing here right in front of us. So again, the reason we're looking in this direction, we're looking towards the west, is because a 747 of the Silkway West cargo is coming in this general direction, and it would be landing from the right of your screen to the left. Again, if we can see it, but it might just be too low on the horizon by the time it gets there. It's almost to the landing strip now. Dagnabbit. That's what we say here in Texas. We don't use those dirty words. We just say dagnabbit and consarn it and things like that. Oh, I saw it. I just saw the tail of it, and yeah, we're not going to see much. Well, if you saw it, consider yourself. I saw the tail of it between the trees, very low, and it was just too late to zoom into it because it was on the move. So, well, we'll see it in a moment or two, coming at us from this general direction. I apologize for my inability to bring you that shot. I should have sent our satellite truck over there for the pickup. Durrani T says Emirates will be coming in 1 hour and 38 minutes from now. That's just on the cusp of when I've got to leave to go to my real job, the one that pays me money. So. Karen Glenn is letting us know that they've got a frost coming tonight, but a beautiful day tomorrow. A frost. That sounds very pleasant here from North Texas, where we've been subjected to more than a month of 100-degree Fahrenheit temperatures. Cookie Monster 65 saying, okay, found the Qantas flight 7, which will arrive in 8 hours, which unfortunately is outside of our window. So we'll keep an eye on for the Silkway West. Meanwhile, we've got coming into view here at the top of runway 18 left is Spirit Airlines flight 207 to Las Vegas, and Airbus A320.
2340 Echo Sierra route, monitor ground point 65.
And you probably could hear that distinctive howl that the engines of that plane emit. It just sounds spooky. Why? I guess there's a reason. I've never been on that plane, but I would only think if you heard that noise and you weren't expecting it, you would think something's gone wrong. So, Spirit off to Vegas. And here comes Silkway West, as promised.
Circa 2090, taxi via the Echo Sierra route, monitor ground point 65.
Yeah, this is the music we play every time we see a 747 majestically arrive. And it will be making a right turn, turning to the, well, a left turn, turning to the right of our screen, and we'll get to see the livery at that point a little more clearly. And we have Waters on board. Good afternoon to you and to everyone else here. You are looking at Queen of the Skies 747, belonging to Silkway West Airlines after a 5-hour-and-a-half flight from Anchorage. This is an airline based in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is a 16-year-old Boeing 747-4H6F. And we did not get to see it land because it came in on runway 13 right, which we just can't see at all from here. I was hoping to get it as it was approaching, but it was just too low in the sky. I just kind of sort of caught the tail of it very briefly. But this will be the first time I have seen this plane here. It comes in about once a week to DFW, making a kind of a around-the-world trip to various ports of call. It was last in Anchorage. I think it's headed back on an easterly path to Baku in Azerbaijan. So it's a first for this channel, and it looks like it's got a special sticker on it. I don't know how tight we can get. I guess 10 years? But that's about all of it we're going to see. I don't believe it'll turn around fast enough for us to see it leaving. I'm assuming later today sometime, but there you go. Silkway West. Matthew Knott just subscribed to our little shindig here, so thank you. Jay Farrow saying absolute beauty.
Southwest 1304, visual 13 left space.
John Walton saying she looks like Snoopy, LOL. And Karen was agreeing that that particular plane has a smile on its face. So we are sure happy that we got to bring that to you all here on Runway DFW. What time is it? 7:35. We've been on the air for about an hour and, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So we've got to see two interesting planes, that one, and earlier we got to see an An-12, an Antonov An-12 turboprop cargo plane, 50 years old, or was it 52? I can't remember now. It was an old plane, smoky. I remember having read accounts of other people seeing that plane being a smoky plane, and yeah, it was. And Just Planes, says Matty Rum, just did a good session with Silkway Airlines, worth a watch. I will look out for that. Spotting BE says, I hope the King will come. The King, I'm sure he's referring to, is the Airbus A380, and it should be here later today. the British Airways flight 1, I can't remember what the flight number is, but it comes in here from London every day, or pretty much every day. But I will not be here for that, regrettably. We were here for that on Friday night. We got to see it. So check out our show from then. Bill called him saying, "Congratulations, Walt, your channel has really taken off." Well, thank you. But you know, I credit our viewers because so many of you are sharing this channel with others you know and like, and YouTube is doing the same thing. And as you subscribe and like, trademark, to Runway DFW, that sets off alarms with other YouTube viewers who get to sample us, and if they like us, they'll hang out too. So it's all good, and we thank you very much for being a part of it. And Big Baby saying, "I'm a day one subscriber." Well, thank you, Big Baby. We've been on since I think I did some test broadcasts last October and started publishing in November. And we had some cold days in January and December and January, but it's all good. And Nabila D is imploring you, friends, please like and subscribe to this amazing channel. Thank you so much. Uncle Car Guy saying, "I've never seen a Silkway 747. Will you do a collab with OzGaming 9? OzGaming 9 is another YouTube channel who has been established for a while. He is 14 years old, and he has recently started doing live streams from DFW, usually in the evenings when I cannot do it. So it kind of works out well for anybody who wants to see DFW content. So check him out, OzGaming 9. And but I haven't met him yet. I'm thinking at some point we'll both be here at the same time, and we'll get to say hi to each other. Runway Collin County saying the British Airways Flight 193 is coming today, but did not come yesterday. The daily Airbus A380-800. And yeah, it takes a day off, like about once a week, but it's not the same day. You know, on some days it's Saturday, some days it's Sunday. And I know they've been having some issues over at Heathrow as far as the capacity goes and their ability to handle passengers, and so we will see what happens. We just hope it continues coming here. The big king. But I still do have to say that I just like looking at the 747 better, even though it's more commonly seen here than the A380, which we only get to see once, at most once a day. So we have a pretty good crowd on hand today. BB just subscribed to our channel. Thank you, BB. And we hope to bring you some more planes in a second. Trying to look and see what's going on here. Everything's very quiet now. There's the daily flight from Maui in Hawaii is now also coming in on the on runway 13 right. So I'm going to see if we can see that coming in. It should be coming in just over the tops of these trees here. I know it's not the most exciting view, but there's nothing else going on, so let's see if we can find it. Can you spot the Dreamliner? If it comes in a little higher than the 747 did, we may have a little chance of seeing it, but again, normally this flight comes in right in front of us. And it should be in our viewfinder right now, where the tail should be going through those trees, but I'm not seeing it, so. Sorry folks, but I did just get the alert that the daily British Airways Flight 193 has lit up on the radar at Heathrow, so it will be coming here later today. So if you're in the vicinity of DFW Airport, you might want to check that out. Comes in, it's scheduled to come in around 5 o'clock. That flight, the A380 is 5 o'clock local time, U.S. Central Time. But it is often, I don't know, seems more often than not it is not on time. There's one of the radar towers here at DFW, and you can see that it's those are stairways that go up there. So it's about an 8 or 10 story tall structure, and that flag is a little bit in front of it, but not too much. So that is a large flag. John Michael Pardo has just subscribed to our channel, as has Adam Elmogi. Thanks to both of you and to everyone else who subscribed today. And those of you who have been with us for a while, because we tip our Runway DFW caps to all of you who have been hanging out with us for a while. Sam Landis is agreeing with me about the 747, which he says has timeless curves, so he also prefers to view the Queen. And unfortunately, UPS doesn't have any, well, it has 747s, but it doesn't have any right now in its stable over here to the south of us, so we won't get to see any today, at least not take off. Cookie Monster 65 says, do you guys need a mod? Well, I tell you what, if you will be kind enough to, we're not doing that right now, but as we grow, I believe we will be needing that service. So if you want to put your name on a list, just write to me at runwaydfw@gmail.com. That's runwaydfw@gmail.com. And I'm keeping tabs on everybody who has made a request to help us out in that regard, and I welcome your interest in that. Thank you. Dwayne C. was saying the sunrise this morning was really inspiring along with the music. The west side of Fort Worth doesn't offer that view. Some people have asked about the music. It is called Ethereal Choir Ascends by Doug Maxwell of Maxwell Media Right Productions. And you can find it on YouTube. It's one of those copyright-free songs that YouTube offers to creators so that you don't get in trouble with people who publish music for a living. And it's really quite an incredible piece of music. Artemis just subscribed. Thank you, Artemis. Glad to have you here with us. Hourglass DJ, good morning to everyone from across the pond in, let me see if I can get this right, Gelsenkirchen, Germany. I just came across your channel, new subscriber. Thank you, Hourglass DJ. I wish we had more planes to show you right now. This is the second busiest airport in the world, but it's very quiet right now. So that's why we're showing you this kind of scenic shot, as Blogo Man is our newest subscriber. Would you like to join Blogo Man? Well, you can subscribe to Runway DFW. There's no charge whatsoever. It's not anything that costs money. It just helps you find us again if you're interested in what we've got on offer, and it also helps YouTube recognize that we have content that other like-minded people want to see. So thank you. Hourglass DJ just subscribed, so thank you, Hourglass DJ. He actually told us that, or he or she actually told us that. Got birds surrounding me again. Not as many as we had earlier at daybreak. We can check out the radar again now, because we've got an American Eagle flight coming in from Grand Island after an hour and 19 minutes, an Embraer 145 LR, but it looks like it's kind of angling over to the east side. So not sure what to say about that. It's eerily quiet. We have now a super chat from Joachim G. 10 euros from Joachim. Runway DFW. Walt, if it's time for hydration, here's a little help. Thank you. I was thinking about having some water. So, I guess while there's nothing going on here, we'll have a little disco water break, shall we?
Disco! Your favorites. Disco time!
Well, disco time is over, folks, because we got planes to see. Like this one. That was American Eagle Flight 3907 coming in from Grand Island, as we said before. And now it quiets down again. Okay. Alright. Alright, DFW Airport, be that way to me. It's going to get really busy right around 9 o'clock when I gotta leave. Thank you very much. Nabila D is a fan of our music. Thank you. John Fishwick, good afternoon from St. Helens in England, a new subscriber. Another new subscriber. I'm getting a bunch today. Something's going on. Something's in the air. I don't know what it is. Matt Waite, good morning from Arlington. Stay cool out there today. You know, I will be, it's on our thermometer here, our unofficial thermometer. It says 84, which sounds, that's Fahrenheit, of course. And I always try to translate that for our international friends. So that's about 29 degrees Celsius. But it's really not too bad at this time of day. But if I were to stay much later than 9 a.m., it would definitely get hot. And we are expecting to see another 100-degree day here at DFW Airport. Rage Quit, good morning from Germany. Good morning to you, Rage Quit. Happy to have you with us. Durante T says, I've never been to the U.S. in my life. I hope someday I will make it there, and I hope you do. And this, I find, is a great way to kind of share the, some of the experience. Of course, it's not the total experience of just being in a different country. That's why I love watching analogous streams from other places in the world, which kind of puts me in that different place. It's fun to see. So I'm glad we can provide that service for you and others. Here comes an American Airlines jetliner over the bridge from the east side. I don't see it on the radar, so I can't tell you much about where it's going or where it's come from. We'll take this opportunity to look at a plane coming in from Charlotte, North Carolina, over on the east side. Charlotte's one of American's other hubs here in the U.S.
I see the Cessna off my 11 o'clock.
And that's all we get to see of that particular aircraft. That was an Airbus A321.
For that traffic, 36 Juliet, Romeo. We have bad traffic in sight. Like, we have it in sight as well.
There is one of the two UPS MD-11s parked over at their cargo area.
430 Crossford, I want to
I don't see any doors open on either side. Well, on either plane on this side, on their left side of the aircraft. So I don't know if that means they're buttoned up or they're ready to go. I don't know. Usually we do see at least one of them go out to Louisville in the mornings on a weekday.
2866, 17 center.
There's a kind of obscured view of the whole plane from this perspective, and then just to the left of that, if camera 1 can pan over, we see the other one. But that's about all we can see of that one. The next thing we will be able to see is American Flight 2866 coming in from Washington National Airport. Is that what they call it, or is it Reagan Airport now? I think it's called Reagan Airport. But anyway, it's coming in, it's an Airbus A320. And that is a turn-of-the-century aircraft dating back to the year 2000. And we'll get a long-distance view of it because, again, it's coming in on the east side of the airport.
422 on the visual 417 left at 2000. Runway 422, DFW clear, wind 100, 0 at enter, just 15, runway 17 left, middle line. 17 left cleared, and then friendly 422.
So that is the plane. You just heard the pilot of, or the whoever is running the radio in that plane talking to the tower, saying they have clearance for runway 17 left on the east side of the airport. And this airport's pretty spread out, so that aircraft is pretty far away from where we are. And it is landing now.
Southwest 75, visual approach from runway 13 left.
And Tim Wells is embellishing what we said earlier. Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Short name is usually Washington National. I think it's been so long since I've been to that particular airport, that's what it was called back then, was Washington National. I think they changed the name after the last time I was there. So thank you for that information, Tim. Arun Mehta just subscribed to Runway DFW. It's heartwarming to have you all with us today.
Cleared across 17 right on Echo Lima and ground on the other side, American 2866.
Sebastian Echeverria asks, how are you, Walt? I am doing great this morning. Had a pretty busy day yesterday. We were here for a morning broadcast at about the same time frame as we're doing today. And it's kind of rare that we do 2 days in a row. It just worked out that way this time, so I'm happy to be here. But because of that and grandfatherly duties and chores that need to be done around the house, didn't get a lot of sleep last night. About 3 hours maybe. So if I conk out during this broadcast, you'll know why, but I think I'll be okay. Right after it ends, I'm going to pack up my equipment, go to a Starbucks, plug my computer back in, and we will start over. Well, we'll start our regular job. Well, here's a heavy coming in. It's a 777 coming in from Buenos Aires after a 10.5-hour flight on Runway DFW. Boeing 777-223ER. We have a lot of planes today that were built in the year 2000. This is another one of them, dating back to February of 2000. So just barely in this century, although I remember when we had the turn of the century, and there's always a debate where people think the year 2000 is the start of the new century, and others were saying, no, it's really 2001 where the new century starts, because that's the first year of it. So I don't think that particular line of reasoning was accepted by most people. Most people, when they saw the year start with a number 2, decided, yeah, it's a new century. Lori M is checking in from Garland, Texas, not too far away. Walt, hope you get some sleep today. Probably not, because I've got to go, and so after I get done with here, I'll try to pack up in about 20 or 25 minutes, pop over to the nearest Starbucks, which is about 5 minutes, and I'll work for a couple of hours there. Then I'll head home, which is about 50 miles away, and then I'll start working again, and then around 4 I will break off there, and I've got to go get my grandson from daycare, take him home about 20 miles away, and then I'll come back home and finish up work. And I don't know when I'll sleep again ever, but that's okay. You are about to see coming into your shot another big jet, another 777. This is the American Airlines flight going to Cancun, going to Seoul, South Korea. Is it in your shot yet? There it is, yeah.
A minute, and then we'll also need about 30 seconds on the runway. 1579 DFW.
This is Runway DFW.
In the morning.
Thank you, just got your new read for 1342.
Sometimes when things get a little bit slow, try to pep things up with a jingle or two. I love jingles. I'm kind of a radio nerd.
Yeah, I was going to cross you, but I realized
I only got to work in real radio for a couple of years before my career has been spent in television news, but I was always intrigued with disc jockeys and music and jingles. So now we have our own jingles, kind of. So as we said, this flight's going off to Seoul in South Korea. That's a long flight. It's a 777-223ER. This one is a little newer than the last one we saw, 16 years old, dating back to 2006. And as we look at this plane make the turn, we'll zoom out a bit to see this A321 coming in from Austin, Texas, another American Airlines flight. Yikes, it's after 8 o'clock already, local time. Which means I've got about 55 minutes of aviation entertainment for you, and I use that term loosely. Got a Frontier flight you can see there in the background. That's an A320, which will be headed off to Las Vegas momentarily. And again, this big bird's off for a trans-Pacific jaunt to Seoul. And it looks like as this takes off, we will be seeing American Flight 2111 coming in from Minneapolis, St. Paul. That'll be a 737-800. So here comes the Minneapolis flight incoming, which will eclipse this big bird momentarily.
Yeah, we're on Delta 2. We need a bug scrub, please. Thank you. Yeah, American 2767. Hey, flight attendant's kind of concerned about that oven. I'm going to call the maintenance guy and have him come look at it and see what he thinks. Cross 18 left and over to ground 45 American 21 left.
Banking right to head west. Alright, here's the Frontier. Where did we say it was going? Off to Vegas. We didn't even mention what was on there. Is that an emu? I want to say that's an emu. No, it's a Marty the Marmot. Marmot? Unfamiliar with that particular animal. But yeah, Marty the Marmot. There he is. I missed the top of the hour when we were supposed to let you know what's going on here. So let me do this right now. As Shane Rouser just subscribes, thank you. You are watching Runway DFW live and in color from DFW International Airport in Texas. We will be with you through the top of the hour, and we'll have some fun. So hang out with us here at Runway DFW. almost missed that one. We saw a flight to Korea go out. American Airlines, a 777, and now we have a Dreamliner 787-9 come in. The Pepsi plane, Korean Air. A 4-year-old plane. We saw a Korean Air cargo 747 come in over the weekend. Always happy to see that. Oh, there's a shot of the Pepsi plane. John Fishwick saying the British Airways Flight 193, the A380 Super Jumbo, is now 10 minutes into its flight to DFW Airport. And we have some marmot information. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but marmots live at the top of the mountains. Very cute animal, says Logging Road King. Thank you for that info.
American 1034,
We say so long to Somil Bandari, who's a regular here. Hope you have a great day, Somil.
American 1586, cross runway 17 right at Kilo 8 and contact ground 165.
Vaidyanathan Iyer saying good morning DFW from Bangalore in India, and I have no idea what time it might be in Bangalore, other than that and Kasim Mohammed just subscribed. Hello Kasim. India's time zone or time zones, aren't they like 30 minutes off from most of the rest of the world? So for instance, if it's 11 o'clock here, it would be 11:30 there at the same time. That's always been confusing to me, but you know, it's probably confusing to them. Why doesn't everybody else have their time zones half hour offset from the rest of the world? Why, you know, so we are not to judge. And Nabila D says, thank you for your amazing broadcast. Thank you. Doesn't seem that amazing from where I sit. It's just fun. It's really what I've always wanted to do my own broadcast. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it goes exactly right. This is an Airbus A319, a minibus. It's American Airlines. Its flight, it's listed here as flight 245Q with no destination. I don't know if that means, you know, that's probably some inside thing that I don't know about. Maybe it's flying off to a maintenance base or something. American does have a big maintenance facility in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is not too far from here. Or maybe it's just that Flight Radar 24 just doesn't have enough information about this flight to let us know where it's going. So in any event, there it is taking off. What you hear behind me now is American flight coming in from Guadalajara. Oh, and it's the TWA livery, so let us catch a glimpse of that. Our second special livery of the day. We saw PSA earlier. And here is the TWA American Airlines special livery, honoring that American airline classic, Transworld Airline. Transworld, is it Airlines or Airways? Transworld Airlines, I think.
What's that?
That's probably among my favorite of the many classic liveries that
Lima 25 on the other side, clear to cross 20 left.
what American calls their heritage liveries. And as a kid growing up, TWA was iconic. It was right up there with Pan Am as you know, a major airline. I've read stories about it. I still can't understand how an airline like Pan Am could just collapse like it did. I read a story, I think it was last year, written by the pilot of the Pan American plane, which was the last one to fly under the, you know, it was the last one in the sky. One of them had to be the last, and that was it. And I think he was flying from the Bahamas back to Miami, and they knew at that time that was going to be the last flight. It was very emotional, and yet they had to be professional about it. That was American Flight 3598 coming in from Lexington, Kentucky, an Embraer 175. And I only got to fly on, is camera 2 out again? By gum. I'll have to investigate that. So we're down to 2 cameras now, until I can fix that one. We're looking at, are we looking at it? No, we're not yet. Now we are. It's American Flight 2853 to Los Angeles, in A321.
We can have you on the runway about 5 minutes prior to that, so be ready to go in about 15 minutes from now. Once you're started up and ready, you can make the turn at Echo Golf for 17 right. Alright, we'll start up here a little bit and make the turn for Echo Golf for 17 right, American 1579. Going to have you on the runway in about 15 minutes or so. Flight 82 on the Victor 1770. Flight 82, Sierra Wind 100, 010, runway 17, center clear line. Flight 82. 1505, cross runway 17 right at Echo Lima, take ground point 65, good morning. 17 right, Echo Lima, call ground point 65, good morning, got 1505. Kilo cross 20 left and ground A5 on with 3598.
Okay, well, let me look and see what's going on with this camera. Plugged in. 100% battery. Looks like camera 2 is back. No explanation. The flying expert says, "What runway are you showing?" We are overlooking runways 18 right and 18 left on the west side of DFW Airport. So if you're looking at a map, we're on the left side of all the terminals. There's 2 north-south terminals over here, including one crosswind runway, which we can't see on this side. And there's 3 north-south parallel runways over on the east side, and along with one crosswind runway over there. So there you go. Coming in from Chihuahua in Mexico, a minibus. American Flight 579, Chihuahua in Mexico. Chihuahua, that's a fun word to say. So if you hear on the tower radio, if you hear 17 left or 17 center or 17 right, those are all on the east side of the airport. We can see planes coming in to land over there, but we can't actually see them touch down because we don't overlook those runways as we do here on this side. So speaking of that, what you see there off in the distance is a Frontier Airlines flight. I don't think we'll be able to pick it out, but it bears the Crockett the Raccoon livery. It's an A321 coming in from Orlando in Florida after 2 hours and 15 minutes in the sky. And again, this one's landing on the east side of DFW. And we'll follow it along with you, backlit though it may be by the morning sun. It'll go behind some buildings and then we won't see it. And it will head over to Terminal E, which is the one terminal that other airlines can use here. Well, other international flights are accepted from that. They get to land at Terminal D or to check in at Terminal D. But all the other airlines, aside from American, which don't have an international component, will be arriving at Terminal E. So if you're coming in on Delta or Alaska or United and your flight did not originate overseas, Terminal E is where you will deplane. This is American Flight 1750 coming in from Cancun in Mexico. It's an A321, and again we are looking at it from afar because there's nothing going on over on my side of the airport. Although I was kind of wrong about that because here comes something now. Coming in from Chattanooga, Tennessee in the U.S. It's American Eagle Flight 3510 and Embraer 175. Camera 2's back in operation. We've got 35 minutes left in our broadcast approximately. Robert Dodson says, "Good morning, DFW Runway. Love your stream. It's the best by some margin." Or margarine. Tim Wells says, "I've only flown American to DFW," and there's a pretty good chance of that because American and American Eagle handle about 85% of the passenger traffic here. We have another flight coming in from south of the border and from Silao in Mexico. This is American Flight 1017, another minibus A319. Is that another special livery? It is. It's the America West livery. My goodness. We have a cornucopia of heritage liveries today. That again was the America West special livery that American Airlines has. And the special liveries are painted to reflect airlines that have kind of been folded into American or somehow. America West, as I recall, actually when American was having some bad time, this I'm going by memory here, but I think America West was actually bought American Airlines, or took control of American Airlines, but then decided, well, I think American Airlines is got a little more cachet than America West does as far as an airline name goes. So, but yeah, I believe it was America West that kind of saved American, I guess. Unlikely though that sounds. I sure wish Pan Am were still around. I think there was a company, I think it was here in Texas, in South Texas, that fired up, bought the rights to the Pan Am name and logo and started actually flying some flights. I can't remember if they were scheduled or charter, but they had airplanes painted up with the Pan Am logo, and I don't know how long that lasted. They may still be in business, I don't know. I haven't seen any of their aircraft. I think it was based in South Texas somewhere, Harlingen or some such. And I was intrigued by that, although I was not inclined to believe that it would ever result in a global carrier the way Pan Am was at its peak.
Good morning, American 2274 inbound. Visual 177. 2274 DFW wind 100
This must be the south of the border hour here at DFW, because we've got American Airlines flight 1066 coming in from Mexico City. It'll be a 737-800, which will be arriving momentarily. Until then, we've got American flight 2720, this one, an A321, and this one's off to Tucson, Arizona. And you see a Delta jet behind that, an A319, which will be off to Salt Lake City in Utah, in the U.S. Here comes the Tucson plane stepping up to the plate at the north end of runway 18 left.
3122 south on Mike. Are you parking in Echo Terminal? So just go south on Mike and let me know when you get the spot. 2435 inside net.
And that is the skyline of Dallas, kind of hazily in the background. And as we approach the 9 o'clock hour in this final 30 minutes of our broadcast, it's going to get very busy. This is kind of one of the rush hours of the day here. So if for some reason I can't keep up with the volume of flights, bear with me. We'll at least have pictures to show you. And here comes the flight from Mexico City that we talked about.
Corporate Aviation at DFW, Challenger 760, Hotel Charlie. Hotel Charlie, DFW, Corporate Aviation, go ahead. Hey, good morning. We're going to be on the ground there in about 20 minutes. You should have a rental car under last name Holder from Hertz. Standing by for us. 3122, Nicholas Sierra, I'm on underground, 0.25. Have wait for. Okay, but nothing under the last name Holder. Negative, sir. We're still.
So we're getting into a pile-up situation here at runway 18 left. Looks like
we'll be there in the next 20 minutes or so. We'll be with you for
what we've got going out next
we're going to need the fuel truck standing by too, if you could.
is American 2720 going to Tucson.
Thanks very much. We'll see you in about 20 minutes.
And in the meantime, Japan Airlines Flight 2 DFW has just landed, a Dreamliner from Narita Airport in Japan, but it came in on the parallel runway 13 right, which again we don't see the landings for, but we will see it poke its head out momentarily. So there goes the flight to Tucson. Here comes another baby bus, or mini bus I guess. This one from Savannah, Georgia. American 2435 is the flight number. For those of you who want to tick that off your scorecard, here's the Delta flight going to Salt Lake City.
Alpha, hold short 18 left, American 2435. 2274 cross runway 17 right at Echo Lima, impact takeoff 165. Contact departure, good day. Good day, American 1061. 839. American 2718, visual 13 right.
All right, now we've got a flight coming in from Aguascalientes in Mexico. They're intersecting the top of your screen. And stepping up to the plate, this Dreamliner 787-9 off to Phoenix. Pardon me.
I'm local 713.
American Flight 569. And as we've discussed, it's one of the only...
Calling for relocation from... I'm sorry, I got your numbers.
One of American's only heavy jets that flies to a domestic destination in the lower 48 states from here in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Temperature on board is 85 degrees, and security paperwork dated 8/8/2022 at 7:45 a.m.
And you'd think they'd have wide bodies going to LAX from here, or maybe to Miami, and I don't know if they do or not, but I haven't seen any. At least not since the height of the pandemic. We're gonna make a quick zoom, or a quick pan over to this flight arriving from Tampa. And nominally, the Tampa flights would land over on the east side, so I guess maybe they're redirecting a little bit. We see coming into view now the Japan Airlines flight that just landed on 13 right. Again, that's the runway we don't see from here. And nominally, it will land right in front of us here at Founders Plaza, but not today. And do I hear? Oh, I think we're going to get to see another view of this AN-12. All right. Tell your friends. Here it is, the AN-12. This is Ukraine Air Alliance Flight 5063. I wasn't sure that this would turn around in time for us to see it again, but it is headed to Laredo in South Texas. This is a 52-year-old aircraft built in Ukraine under Soviet, back when it was part of the Soviet Union. It is a very smoky aircraft, as you'll probably be able to see. But yeah, we get a rare look at this plane, at least from our perspective. We saw it come in earlier as a surprise. Look at that unusual shape. I guess That's so it can take off at a steep angle? Wow.
491, hold for runway 1708 Echo Lima. 417 Echo Lima. Air Alliance 5053.
Ukraine Air Alliance.
Yes, cross runway 17 right, turn left on line, hold short of Echo Golf, let me know when you're ready. Takeoff 18 left, American 2114. Echo 4 cross runway 17 right, Zulu contact ground.
Now the question is, will they direct it over to the east side for takeoff, or will it just? Guess we're gonna find out. It's taxiing north, which would indicate that it is going to eventually turn around so we can see it take off over here.
On Mike, hold short of Echo Golf, let me know when you're ready. Cross runway 17 right at Yankee, left on Mike, hotel 17 right, Golf, Echo Golf, check, 97 right, 974, right. Front of Echo Golf, American East 5, Echo Golf. Jeff on the American 1757 to the port. 17 up, back to the Echo Sierra, mounted ground 0.65, Echo Sierra 0.65, there's 0.6
So unusual to hear 4 non-jet engines whirring.
Almost 4073 is number 2, runway 17 is with lane with 100, 011. Departure for 204. Focus 218 at 2500.
T-Rex 17 right, for the takeoff there.
28, 47 is return, runway 17 right, on the way. Runway 17 right, on 24. American 12, one way, 18 right, park on this side. No short problem, American 12. American 128, DFW Tower, good morning, wind 200 at 12, runway 17 left, clear to land. 17 left, clear to land, American 420. 13 left, clear to land, 680. First on the first one, and the citation we have is 120.
Again, this one's off to Laredo in South Texas. We saw it come in early in our broadcast, so if you want to scan back, you can see its arrival. So I consider this a lucky day to be out here. Somebody in the chat room can probably tell us how many of these are still flying around. I don't suspect it's too very many. I sure hope it's going to make a right turn here so it can take off for us. Yes, it is. So a plane built in 1970 is about to take off here from DFW Airport. get a glimpse there of how smoky those engines are. I mean, you don't see that from any modern plane. Although you did see that from the earliest, you know, like if you see old pictures of a Boeing 707 jet or of a DC-8, they all did the same kind of thing. So this is off to Laredo in South Texas, an An-12. Our first look at an An-12 here on Runway DFW. We did catch its big brother, I'm trying to remember if I got the name right, the An-21. It's a four-jet cargo plane, bigger than this, of course. Not the biggest one, the one that was destroyed, I guess it was the only one. It had 6 engines. It was destroyed by Russian bombs in the early days of the Ukraine war. So there you go, An-12 for you folks. Mark Chandler observed the pilot was having difficulty keeping it straight, pulling right, and had to correct it. But Miss Wolves, 13, enjoyed the takeoff. And Hans van Rijsee says this is the most interesting plane I've seen on streams in ages. Yeah, it's very unusual, I gotta say it. We say hello to Christian Baum. Greetings from Germany. Hello, Christian. Good to have you on board with us. And Kells agrees that that was a nice plane to see. Well, let's see. It's we've got about 15 minutes left, so let's see what we can pack into our final 15 minutes. I don't think we can top that. Pretty sure we can't top that, folks. Got a bunch of planes ready to take off. They're all American or American Eagle. This looks to be the first out of the gate. American Flight 5838, American Eagle Flight 5838. CRJ 901ER.
49, bye-bye.
I just hear someone on the radio say bye-bye. And I apologize, it's a 900 LR as far as the plane goes. Can't win them all.
DFW Tower 3037, visual 17. With the 37, DFW Tower 1200 and 12, runway 17 left, clear to land. Clear to land 17 left, runway 3037. 7 Tower, good morning, American 2487, we're about 4 miles from Hurricane, going to your right. Departure.
All right, we've got this Mesa Air, and I lost it, didn't I? It's too fast for me.
1021 south on Mike, Echo Sierra route, give way to any traffic at Echo Sierra, follow to zone 65 to 1. Air Envoy 4061, visual 17.
That's a low angle takeoff.
Clear takeoff 18 left, only 30 and 1.
Anyway, I believe that was going to Midland, Texas, CRJ 900 LR. I'm going to try to break one of my rules here and pan over to see what's coming next.
Clear to land, runway 17 left, Envoy 4061.
Looks like an American Eagle
Good morning, Challenger
Embraer 175.
Visual 17 center. Challenger 760, Hotel Charlie, DFW Airlines, you're following in Airbus 320, 1210 at 10, runway 17, clear to land. 7 center, we're clear to land, 760, Hotel Charlie. American 2387, we'll take your 12.
I lost that one too because I got distracted by the incoming flight. So let me reset here. The minibus. Minibus.
Departure 391.
Touching down from
2387.
DSM,
Runway 17 right, let's take off.
Des Moines, Iowa. After a 1 hour and 27-minute journey.
Keep waiting any traffic at atmosphere. Monitor ground 25, good morning.
We have glare is getting to me today, folks. Let's divert our attention now to a larger aircraft. There's going to be a American Airlines Flight 115 coming in from Honolulu. It's a 777-223, another 20-year-old aircraft dating back, or another 22-year-old aircraft dating back to the year 2000. Gotta say that one sounded a little louder than some of the planes we've been seeing recently.
3121, take that high speed, taxi south on line to the atmosphere route. Keep waiting any traffic at atmosphere, monitor ground 65, good morning. Left clear takeoff, American 2593. American 4, taking it.
American Airlines Flight 2593 is now leaving the gate. There it is. Camera 1 picking it up. Off to Minneapolis, St. Paul. 737-800. Taking off to the south and gonna have to make a big U-turn to head north.
Uh, 1827, 8 miles, visual 17 left. 1827, DFW tower, wind 190 at 11, gust 15, runway 17 left, clear land. Clear land, 17 left, 18.
Our next departure is this American Airlines A321, which is off to Los Cabos in Mexico, the popular resort.
Left, clear for takeoff, our empty park altitude, 49, breaking. 4 speed 1 off the hut, 0, miles per hour, 4 to departure. High speed, that's here, American 2728, DFW tower, wind 190 at 11, gust 15, runway 17 left, land.
As the wind picks up here, that was American Eagle Flight 3847, Embraer 175, coming in from Tallahassee in Florida.
Short, Golfy, Envoy, 3047.
An American Airlines incoming flight from San Antonio. As we see this American Eagle flight leaving for McAllen in Texas. Non-stop action for you from DFW Airport right now in the 9 o'clock hour, or the late 8 o'clock hour rush. This is American Flight 2517 off to Calgary in Canada. And to the left for an arrival from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And yet they come. As we tick down to our final 5 minutes of programming for you here live from DFW Airport. I'm seeing just a jumble of planes over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ready to take off. As camera 1 picks up the action for you. I can't even begin to tell you which one's going to be first to make the move. I guess that's up to the air traffic folks. Looks like a plane that wasn't even in our picture is getting the nod. This is an American Eagle flight on its way to Lubbock, Texas. This American Eagle flight coming in from Fargo, North Dakota. This is the next plane to go out. Going to be American Flight 1812 to Colorado Springs, a 737-800. That may have to be our final plane of the day. One more. We end with Spirit, a plane or an airline which may soon cease to exist under that name, as long as the merger with JetBlue is approved by regulators. So maybe we won't be seeing these banana birds too much longer, but there you go. We'll file it away and keep it in our memories. Alright folks, that is going to do it, unfortunately. I could stay here all day if I didn't want to get paid by my regular job, so I will have to say sayonara to you at this point. It's been so great having you with us today. We had a great day of plane spotting, highlighted by the Antonov An-12 cargo plane. So great to see. So, thank you for hanging out with us today. We will see you again next time, probably, well, I don't know what day. I think later this week, one day. Hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. And it's been just great to hang out with you. And that's going to end this transmission of Runway DFW live from DFW International Airport in Texas. We'll be back soon. I want to thank every one of you for joining us today, whether you were here for all or part of it, especially the people who subscribed to us either today or in the past. It helps us a lot grow and become the powerhouse channel at DFW Airport that you, the aviation viewer, wants to see. So, happy contrails to you. Until we meet again, my name is Walt, and I'll see you soon on Runway DFW.
Number 1 on the air, on the World Wide Web.
This is Runway DFW.
It's fun!